tilt and slide bed. No guys, that is not something you would find in a sex worker's bedroom. In fact guys, it is a recovery truck, and as you can see here, it is what it says on the tin. It is a bed that slides and tilts. So this is a recovery vehicle guys, and this one's got a fault. You're not going to see it here at the minute because I have the solenoid valves bypassed, but it's sliding all the way back and not tilting. That was the original fault. Here you can see it's tilting. That's because I've bypassed it, because I want to make sure that everything is working hydraulically, which when bypassed, we now know on that valve there that everything is working hydraulically. Pump is working, rams are working, solenoids themselves mechanically are working. So what I'm going to do is the first step is get into testing electrically. So the solenoids I showed you on the tilt rams a minute ago, I had the plugs off to them, and we've got no 24 volt feed down there. So I've traced them wires back through the loom into this control box here. I've isolated the two wires that should have a 24 volt feed down them to the solenoids in the centre of the chassis, and I've identified the two wires that come into the other side of the block. They have got no 24 volt feed coming into this box. So I've bypassed it, I've chucked 24 volts down to the solenoids and then tested it hydraulically, and it is working as it should. So I'm happy that everything from this box back to the main solenoids in the centre of the chassis is working correctly, including the solenoids themselves. So that's all good, I'm happy with that. So this is what we'd call the 50 split method. This is 50% of the circuit tested and done, and I'm happy with that, and that is working correctly. So now I need to trace these wires back through the loom and find out where they go to. So that means following the loom all the way back down the inside of the chassis where it loops backwards and forwards, as you can see here on itself, and then back across to the other side over to the hydraulic control box. So in here you can see all the hydraulic pipes there, they will run into this box along with the electrics, and there's some more solenoids and safety features in here which we now have to test because they are part of the circuit. I suspect one of them lives would run through the stop switch, but to get in there and check where these wires go we need this cover off the top. So that was nice and easy, 3 6mm bolts, and that came off lovely. So now we can see in here somewhere in that bird's nest our wires will run through that loom. So I'm just going to pop the Y pieces off, know what colour wires we're looking at, and then I can trace them. And yes, one of them lives does run down to the stop switch at the bottom there. So the next step for me is to test that switch. The other one of the wires here runs to the bypass solenoid as well. Again, that is the safety feature, so that's a cut off. And here is a little homemade wiring diagram. If anyone can actually understand that, 10 out of 10 to you guys, because even now I still struggle with it. But I like to do this sometimes just to keep the whole wiring picture clear in my mind of what I've tested and where I'm at. So I've still got no live feed coming down to this. I've got continuity across the switch, so the switch is working fine. It is just the fact that it is missing the 24 volt feed from the control box. So what I'm going to do also is just check continuity or resistance of the line from this wire in here, which then runs off to the start stop switch, and that came back at 0.2 and that's fine. So then going back the other way, we followed the wire in here. That should be the live feed to the switch, but it's not. This comes out of the relay. That purple wire there is the switch wire or signal wire which flicks the relay. I've got 24 volts coming into the relay but nothing coming out down the other wire to our stop switch. So I've bypassed that, I'll give it a 24 volt feed, and then we can see the light has come on, and also all the other bits are working as they should. So now, as I've gone full circle with that wiring diagram, we're now going to follow off where that signal wire goes, and that runs all the way through here, through the tracking, actually onto the body where we find the LODAR remote control circuit board receiver. This purple wire here is the control wire, and it is not sending the signal back, so this needs a new control panel. Let's get it sent, guys.